The space station floated above a quiet red moon in Sector 9. It was a boring place. Nothing ever happened here. It's just small ships, old traders, and sometimes lost comets passed by. The station was called Relay Post X-17, and it was run by a small alien crew from the Zarnak Union. Young Officer Tivok sat in front of a dusty screen, half asleep. He was a junior signal tech, the lowest rank on the station. His job was to scan for strange radio signals and report anything unusual, but in 5 years, he had never found anything that changed today. Suddenly, a red light blinked. The console beeped. A strange signal was coming from Deep Space Sector 0. That sector was marked Dead Zone on all maps. It was home to a primitive system called Solware. A forgotten species once lived on the third planet, probably static. Muttered, and pressed play. But then he froze. It wasn't static. It was a human voice, crackling through the static. The words were slow, calm, chilling. This is Earth Command. We see you. We remember you. We are coming. Tyvak's eyes widened. His hand shook. We checked the system again. Yes, the signal was real. It was coming from Earth, a planet that should have been dead for 500 years. Within 1 hour, the small station was on high alert. The message had been sent to the Central Zarnak Command. High generals and signal experts all laughed at it. A trick, they said. Just leftover noise, others replied. Earth is a graveyard. But then a new problem came. The signal had encryption complex code hidden inside the voice. And that code wasn't primitive. It was advanced. It's far more advanced than anything the Zarnak Union or its allies used. Now they weren't laughing by the next day. Signal had spread. Other empires had heard it too. The Varex Dominion, known for its brutal war fleets, said it was a fake made by rebels. The Akatari dynasty, full of proud scientists, said impossible. Humans never reached Type 2 civilization. And the Dravari Collective, a silent empire that ruled 3 spiral arms, said only 2 words. They woke up. The Galactic Council called an emergency meeting. For the first time in 100 years, the 3 great empires shared a room. Holograms of angry leaders filled the high chamber. A short clip was played for all of them. Recording begins static. Then silence. Then a clear human voice. To those who watched us from above, ... To those who came and left their scars. Earth forgives nothing and forgets no one. Prepare. Recording and silence filled the chamber. Then chaos. They threaten us? Launch a scout fleet. Kill them before they rise. Only one person remained quiet. Admiral Krovik of the Dravari. He had fought in the old wars. He had seen Earth once from orbit just before it went dark, remembered the screams of his own soldiers when they landed there, and never returned. He whispered to himself, I told them not to touch Earth. He stood and spoke to the room. Do not send fleets. Do not answer the signal. Earth was not destroyed.
Oh, yeah.
It was hiding. But no one listened. They laughed at him. And so, against his warning, the first scout armada was sent 30. Advanced ships, cloaked, armed, and fast. Their mission? Enter the Sol system. Scan Earth. Return in 1 week. 4 days later, the first ship vanished. No distress signal. No wreckage. Just gone. The second ship sent a short burst before disappearing. We're not alone. Something is watching us. Panic started to spread. By day 6, only 1 ship was left. The Xandar 4. Its captain was a young Vorax named Torak, known for being brave and stubborn. That night, he made a final transmission to the Galactic Council. The voice was full of fear. We entered orbit. Earth looks quiet.
House.
Too quiet. There are no cities, no satellites, just clouds. But something's moving on the dark side of the planet. We scanned it. It's not metal, not a ship. It's alive. Wait, something's happening. The signal cut off. The last message was audio only, a whisper, slow and cold. You watched. You laughed. Now, ... You listen. Back at the council, no one laughed anymore. The empires now looked at each other with fear, and then the human signal returned one more time. This time, it was stronger, closer. The voice said, "We gave you silence. You mistook it for weakness. We gave you peace. You mistook it for fear. Now we give you truth." The signal ended. No ships returned. Earth had not only spoken, it had awakened, and far beyond the cold stars. Something huge began to move. The Galactic Scout Armada never came back. 30 of the best ships dashed gone. No wreckage, no survivors, no signals. The empires waited. At first, they believed it was a delay. Then, fear started to grow. The Zarnok Union, Varex Dominion, and Akatari Dynasty met again. Faces were no longer proud. The great leaders now spoke with tight voices. "They were the best ships," said High Commander Yusk of the Zarnok. "At stealth tech," said the Varex general. "They could not be defeated by primitives," said the Akatari queen. But someone had defeated them. And they knew who'd Earth, deep in the blackness of space. Near the edge of the Sol system, an old mining station picked up something strange. It wasn't a message. It was a recording sent from a probe drifting back from Sector 0, a dead, damaged probe. Almost frozen. Inside, it was the last known video from the missing fleet. It showed the Xandar 4, slowly approaching Earth's orbit. All systems were fine. Nothing strange then. Static and shapes moving behind Saturn's rings. Black shadows, no engine heat. No movement, no light. But they were ships. Big ones. Too big. Then dash boom. Get. The next frame showed the entire fleet frozen in space, stuck like insects in amber. Time had stopped. All their weapons were locked. Nothing worked. Then, one by one, they vanished. No explosion, just gone swallowed by something invisible. And in the final 3 seconds of the recording, a voice was heard. A human voice. Calm. You enter. You fall. No second chance. Take the council. Chamber was quiet after the video. Many leaders looked pale. Some argued it was a trick. Others called it a weapon. But Admiral Krovik, from the Dravari, spoke only one word. Tomb, he explained. Earth has made a trap. A gravity trap. A time field. They didn't stop our ships. They erased them. The empires refused to believe it, so they sent recon drones. Small. Fast. Hidden. But none made it past Neptune. Each drone sent back only one image before going dark. The image showed a fleet. A Terran fleet. Thousands of ships. Completely black. Hiding in the rings of Saturn. They didn't chase. They didn't speak. They waited back on the Zarnok homeworld. The people watched in fear. A news feed showed a close-up of one of the Terran ships. Its name was printed in white letters. TFV Ragnarok. That name was not alien. It was from Earth. From old Earth stories, stories of the end of the world. Then another ship name was seen. TFV Anubis then. TFV Kali, TFV Oblivion. Each name was from Earth's old myths, gods of death, war, and judgment. And then came the biggest one. A ship so large it blocked the camera. Its name was simple. TFV Home Panic. Spread through the galaxies. Why was Earth building warships? Where had these ships been hiding? The answer came from a surprising place. A scientist from the Akatari revealed. Old records logs from 600 years ago. It showed that Earth had never been destroyed. Instead, after the first alien invasion, Earth went dark on purpose. They hid. They buried their technology. They went offline. They let the galaxy think they were gone. All while building in silence. Underground, in space. In shadow, humanity had prepared for centuries, and now they were ready. The empires still didn't act. They were afraid. But they were also proud. They had ruled space for thousands of years. They had crushed hundreds of species. They would not bow to a primitive planet. So they gathered a small battle group, 10 ships, to send again. Just to test. This group was led by the warship Vornax Wrath. They entered the Sol system from the side. Near Pluto, they didn't go far. In just 30 seconds, all 10 ships vanished. No weapons fired, no signs of battle. They entered space. Were never seen again. Then, Earth finally spoke. Not a signal, a hologram. Projected across every major channel in the galaxy, a human appeared wearing dark armor. His face was covered, his voice echoed across stars. We watched as you hunted us. We waited while you mocked us. We built in your shadow, and now we have stepped into the light. Behind him, thousands of Terran ships powered up. This is not a war, this is a correction. And then the signal cut. On the homeworlds of the galactic empires, people screamed. Markets crashed, ships stopped flying, and in one small moon, a child looked at the sky and asked, "Mom, are the humans coming here?" Her mother didn't answer. Because, in the distance, a red star blinked. It wasn't a star, it was a ship. A Terran ship. Watching. The Great Galactic Council met again. This time in the high star chamber above the glowing world of Seral 5. It was the biggest political meeting in the last 200 years. All three empires were there, the Zarnok Union, the Akatari Dynasty, and the Varix Dominion. Their fleets were strong, their armies were proud, and their leaders were angry. Will not be threatened by a dead planet, roared General Vorn of the Virex. Humans were weak, said Queen Syraxa of the Akatari, waving her 6 golden arms. We studied their history. Wars, fire, chaos. They cannot build what we saw. Then explain this. Senator. Slamming a data core on the table, the screen lit up. Thousands of black Terran ships hovered silently above Saturn's rings. The room went quiet for a second. Then, many laughed. It's a trick, said one. A fake fleet made with shadows and mirrors, said another. Primitive world. Bluffing with magic? But not everyone laughed. Admiral Krovik sat still. His 4 cold eyes didn't blink. He had been silent for most of the meeting. Now he spoke. This is no bluff. He pressed a button. Another video played. It showed the 10 warships sent last week, entering Pluto's orbit. All 10 vanished. No sounds, no lights gone. Then, Krovik played the final message. Received audio only. They see us. Too late. They are here. And then static. The laughter. Stopped. Queen Syraxa stood. Her voice was sharp. Even if Earth has a fleet, they are one planet. We are 3 empires. We must strike now together. Many nodded. The room grew hot with anger. But then, something unexpected happened. The lights flickered. The Council's defense grid the most. Secure system in the galaxy, -GLITC. Then, human face appeared on every screen. It was calm, smiling, and speaking in perfect galactic standard. You speak of war. You speak of numbers. You speak too late. Everyone froze. How did they break into our system? Shouted a security chief. The human kept speaking. We are not the same humans. You met before? That was the beginning. That was the end of your beginning. Then the feed shut off. Silence filled the hall. Even the air felt heavier. Admiral Krovik spoke again, this time to all. Do not misunderstand. This is not a war of ships. This is a war of minds. And they are already inside ours. Across the galaxy, chaos began. On the outer colonies, Terran drones were seen flying low black metal insects with glowing red eyes. On neutral trade lanes, ships disappeared. On 3 science moons, deep AI systems were hacked. Just one message found. Earth remembers. Still, the empires refused to stop. They chose pride over fear. They gathered the Trio Armada, the largest joint fleet ever made, 3,000 warships, 9 command dreadnoughts, over 200,000 trained soldiers. They called it Operation Final Light. Their goal: enter the Sol system, destroy all human tech, and take Earth by force. The fleet gathered near a blue star called Talvos 3. It was far from Earth, but close enough to strike fast. Before launching, the Empire sent one last message to Earth. A warning: you will stand down, or be erased. They waited for a reply. Hours passed. Then a simple signal came from Earth. It had no voice, just coordinates and one word: observe. The trio armada launched a small drone fleet to the given location. The ships arrived at an empty part of space. There was nothing but blackness. No stars, no planets. No ships then. Something appeared. Not slowly, instantly. A Terran ship. But this one was different. It was massive. Larger than any Empire ship ever built. It had no engines, no visible weapons, no sound. The ship's name was printed in quiet white letters: TFV Silency. Drone cameras zoomed in. All systems started to fail. Power dropped. Lights flickered. Computers crashed. Then came the final message from the drone. They built this. In the dark, while we watched, nothing. Then dash blackout. The Galactic Council panicked. If Earth could build a ship that began to hide it from sensors, what else did they hide? What if there were more? What if this was just the beginning? Back on the Varric's homeworld, General Vorn ordered the trio armada to begin the final attack. But before the ships could jump, the stars blinked. Literally 3 nearby stars dimmed. For 10 seconds, then turned bright again. When scientists studied the light patterns, they discovered a strange energy field around the stars. An artificial one, and inside the energy were Terran. Ships.Earth didn't just build in its system, it had reached other stars, and no one saw it coming. A final alert came from a secret Zarnox station near a dying sun. One word, a warning: run. The galaxy had not seen war for over 300 years. The 3 empires ruled everything with power, money, and fear. No one had dared to challenge them until now. And the challenger was a species they thought was dead. Humanity? It began without noise. In the cold space near Saturn's rings, hundreds of dark shapes floated in silence. They looked like shadows, or maybe rocks, but they were ships. Terran fleet vessels, each one black, smooth, and sharp. No heat, no engines showing. No life signs. They were hidden from every sensor until they moved. A lonely cargo ship from the neutral Granari race flew too close to Saturn. The crew laughed at the warnings about Earth. Humans are just a story, one said. Then the ship's lights went off. For 3 minutes, everything was dark. When power came back, the crew screamed. Outside their windows, 12 massive Terran ships surrounded them. No weapons were aimed. No message was sent. Just silence. Then, as quickly as they appeared, the Terran ships disappeared into the rings again. The Granar ship turned around and ran. They told the whole galaxy what they saw. The empires laughed at first again, but this time, the laughter didn't last, because soon more ships appeared. Not near Earth, but across 10 star systems, Terran ships were waking up, and they were everywhere. High above the icy world of Dravos. 4. A Terran destroyer entered orbit. The local Empire commander tried to attack. His station fired. Lasers, gravity mines. Nothing touched the Terran ship. It moved like smoke fast, silent, smooth. Then one flash of white light. The Empire base was gone. No fire. No bodies. Just clean white ash. A single word was carved into the snow below. Observe. At the same time, on the red world of Karam 7, a group of scientists detected something insane. They found old radio signals, Earth's ancient music, songs. Speeches mixed inside it was something else. A map. A path of Terran expansion. And that path showed over 50 hidden bases across 3 galaxies. Impossible, whispered one Aketeri elder. They were one planet, Admiral Krovik answered. Coldly, they are not anymore. The true fear began when the Terran flagship appeared. It exited from a wormhole above the Empire fortress of Jaraka Prime. The flagship's name, TFV Hamit, was larger than a moon. Dark, silent, beautiful, and deadly. The fortress, armed with 500 weapons, did not fire, because the fortress AI had already surrendered. The humans never sent a warning. They sent a signal to the AI. Network. We designed your systems. You didn't know, but we watched you build. Now we unbuild you. The fortress shut down. No battle. No. Just silence. Inside the Terran fleet. Something moved. Not soldiers, not commanders, but constructs. Part human, part dash machine. Cold thinking. Loyal to Earth only, they were called wardens. Each warden commanded a ship. They did not speak. They did not rest. They only followed the directive. And that directive was simple. End the age of fear. Begin the age of balance. Humanity remembers. Back in the Galactic Council, chaos ruled. The Zarnok Union demanded a peace treaty. The Akatari wanted to hide. The Variks screamed for war. But it was too late. The Terran fleet had already entered open space. They didn't hide. Anymore, they moved in full view. The ships were named not after numbers, but ancient human legends. TFV Leviathan, TFV Behemoth. TFV Judgment, TFV Ghost. One ship moved slower than the others. It was long, black, silent. It entered the skies of the neutral moon, Celix 3. A child looked up and pointed. "Is that a monster?" he asked. "No," said an old human man beside him. "That is a mirror."
The next day,
10 Empire colonies fell. No weapons used, no deaths. Only a single Terran AI landed at each colony and activated something called Protocol Reset. All Empire systems, money, defense, identity, and history were rewritten now. The colonies belonged to the Terran Peace Directive. Some citizens cried, others clapped because for the first time in their lives, there was no fear. The galaxy watched. Terran ships did not kill without reason. They didn't destroy for fun. They moved with purpose, with control. But everyone knew one truth. Nothing could stop them. And still, Earth had not shown itself. No human leader spoke. No planet was shown. Only the ships moved, like messengers of something greater. Something coming, something old, something very, very patient. In a dark room on a far asteroid, a hidden alien listened. To the original signal again, the one that started it all. He played it slowly, and finally heard the last part, hidden under static. The real message, a whisper. You called us primitive. You left us in fire. But we learned from the stars. Now, the stars will learn. The three empires had ruled the galaxy for thousands of years. They were feared. They were proud. They were undefeated. Until now, until Earth returned. Across all systems, Terran ships moved silently. No banners, no speeches, no demands, just action, power. Grids failed. AI networks stopped working. Entire stations shut down. Peacefully, no one died, but everyone understood one thing. The Terran fleet was in control. Now, the great empires could no longer ignore the truth. They had laughed. They had waited. Now they had to act so. For the first time in history, the Zarnok Union, the Variks Dominion, and the Akatari dynasty agreed to work together. They signed the Tri-Empire Pact. Its goal was simple. Destroy the Terran fleet. Find Earth. Erase it forever. Secret meeting was held on the battle moon Zarv.12. 3 supreme commanders stood in a dark war room. Supreme Lord Kareth of the Variks, with steel armor, and fire in his eyes. High Queen Saraxa of the Akatari, who spoke in whispers but killed in silence. Overlord Zenvar of the Zarnok, old and wise, tired of fear. Each brought their best generals. Each brought their oldest weapons. Each brought their darkest secrets. They had finally realized Earth was not a mistake. Earth was a storm. Was already here. The empires started building their response. Massive war fleets, new AI-powered weapons, anti-Terran energy shields, swarms of nanobots built to tear metal from the inside out. In 1 week, 3,000 new warships were launched. Old heroes returned from exile. Ancient weapons were pulled from vaults. Even the banned Sun Eater cannon was reassembled, a weapon so dangerous it could collapse a star. This was their final stand. And yet, Terran ships did nothing. They watched. They let the empires prepare. They let them gather fleets, as if they were. Waiting across many planets, the people saw the truth. The Terran ships didn't burn cities. They didn't take slaves. They didn't rule by fear. They simply removed the powerful and then disappeared. One farmer on Lunas 5 told the news, "The humans came. They shut down the governor's palace, gave our water back, then they left, just like that." Another child said, "They gave me a book, said I should learn to read." The common people began to ask, are the Terrans the enemy or our future?
Yes.
This terrified the empires more than anything, because now their people had hope. Hope in someone else. Hope in humans. The empires launched Operation Thunderfire. It was a full invasion of the Sol system. Over 10,000 ships, including the best from every empire. They came from all sides, from the Orc cloud, from hyperspace tunnels, from wormholes. But when they arrived, they found nothing. No Terran ships, no defense grid, no traps, just the quiet, glowing sun and a single blue planet. Earth, they scanned it from orbit, no war machines, no large cities, just green lands, water, and clouds. "Is this a trick?" asked Commander Vo-Len. High Queen Saraxa narrowed her eyes. "Where's the fleet?" Then they received a signal, just coordinates, and one word, below. A small Varric scout ship was sent to land. It flew through the clouds under the sea into the ground. Through mountains. What it found shocked them. Earth was hollow. Inside the planet was a megastructure and artificial core. A living system. Millions of machines. Thousands of hidden ships. Cities built inside the crust. Earth wasn't just a planet. It was a fortress, a nest, a weapon before the scout could escape. It sent one last image, the Terran Core Warden, a massive being of silver and black, standing tall in the deep chamber. Its eyes opened, and the signal went dead. In space, the empires prepared for war. All fleets move in. Kareth shouted. Thousands of ships entered low orbit. Weapons locked, shields raised, then Earth responded from the clouds. They rose, the true Terran fleet, ships bigger than cities, ships with living armor, ships that bent space around them like cloth. The Empire fleets opened. Fire, lasers, plasma, missiles. The sky turned red, but the Terran ships didn't fall. They moved through the attacks like shadows, and then they returned fire. Just once, white. Light, silence, then darkness. Over 4,000 Empire ships were gone in 1 minute. No fire, no sound, just erased. The Terran fleet didn't kill for fun. They only removed threats. Clean, precise, cold. Then came a second message from Earth. This was your test. You failed. You thought numbers mattered. You thought firepower was enough. You never understood what we became. This is not conquest. This is correction. In the war room on Zarvok 12, the three leaders stared at the screen. Queen Saraxa whispered, "We can't win." Kareth clenched his fists. "We fight or we bow." Overlord Zenvar looked down, then said something no Zarnak had said in 10,000 years. "Maybe we should listen." The battlefield above Earth was quiet now. No more lasers. No more screams. No more ships moving. Just silence. The Empire fleets were gone. Thousands of their warships erased. The space around Earth felt like a graveyard, but not a normal one. This graveyard watched back in the Galactic Council. Leaders sat frozen. They had seen everything. The perfect defense. The cold return fire. The vanishing of entire fleets with no sound. They called Earth a primitive world. Now, it had become their nightmare. But still, some refused to accept defeat. "We will strike again,"
Ow.
shouted Lord Kareth. "They tricked us with illusions," barked another commander. Then something happened. The lights flickered. The room turned cold, and every screen in the chamber turned black. A new image appeared. A circle dark, glowing at the edges. It pulsed slowly. Then a message appeared in every language. Prepare for silence. The leaders didn't understand, was it a threat? A countdown. And systems began to fail across the galaxy. Power grids collapsed, space traffic stopped, trade. Hubs went dark, no one could talk, no one could travel. The entire galaxy was muted. It wasn't just war anymore. It was something bigger. It was protocol. Silence. On a mining world in the Dravari Belt, young workers stared at the sky. The stars were gone, not blocked, not cloudy. Just missing. When he looked through a telescope, he gasped. Black shapes covered the stars. Terran ships everywhere, watching, waiting, on the Vorix homeworld. Command centers lost contact with their fleets. Even their own war drones refused orders. 1. Commander screamed at the control AI. The AI looked back and said one word, no. Terran code had taken over. The machines now obeyed a different master. The empires began to panic. Desperate. They gathered what forces they had left. They launched a secret fleet, hidden inside a hollow asteroid. Its mission, reach Earth's surface, and plant a star-core bomb to end the planet. Once and for all, they thought no one would notice. They were wrong. The asteroid entered Earth's orbit quietly. For a few minutes, it worked. Then, all sound from the crew stopped. Not from death, from something else. Inside the asteroid, soldiers began to float, motionless, not dead, not unconscious. Frozen time, it stopped. One of them tried to scream, but no air came out. Then came the voice, a whisper, a presence, a will. You entered the silence. You have no place here. Sleep. And just like that, the asteroid vanished. It never exploded. It was never found. Just gone far below, inside Earth's artificial core. The Terran minds awoke. Fully, not humans anymore. Not machines either. They were something new. Something created from war, memory. In survival, they didn't feel anger. They didn't feel mercy. They felt balance. And now they had mission. Reset the stars. One empire tried a final move. They launched the Mind Piercer, a psychic weapon that could break any mind in the galaxy. It aimed for Earth's central command node. The blast fired, it hit. But then, nothing happened. The weapon was absorbed. Then, reversed. The weapon's own creators screamed as their minds cracked open. They saw flashes of Terran history. Pain, fire, loss, and then the future, a galaxy without warlords, without greed, without fear. They begged to forget, but the silence remembered. Admiral Krovik stood, alone in his ship. He had warned them long ago. Now it was too late. His ship floated near Jupiter. Powerless then, he saw it, the heart of the Terran fleet, a living starship. Its surface rippled like water. Its lights blinked like a heartbeat, and it spoke without sound, right into his mind. You could have walked with us, but you chose to stand above us. Now we stand alone. Krovik closed his eyes and whispered, we should have listened. His ship vanished, dashed peacefully, in the central Terran archive, deep inside Earth's core. A warden wrote the final line of a long report. The report title, The War That Was Never Needed. It described how humanity hid, watched, and learned, how they saw every empire's weakness, and how they built not to conquer, but to bring order, not chaos, not slavery, just reset. One small colony on the edge of the galaxy still had lights. A family gathered around a small screen. A message played. Do not fear. This is not the end. This is the beginning. We are the silence. We do not shout. We change. The child looked up. Are they going to kill us? The father smiled softly. No, they're going to teach us how to be better. In one final act, the Terran fleet moved again. Not to destroy, but to turn off. The galaxy's noise, corruption, greed, fear. The silence was not death. It was peace. And now, for centuries, the galaxy thought Earth was gone. burned, forgotten, dead, but now Earth had returned, not weak, not wild, but as something powerful, something terrifying, something different. The galaxies still didn't understand. Why did humans come back now? Why were they silent? What had they become? The truth was buried deep under Earth's surface. In the core, behind the metal and rock, behind fire and memory, there was a room. In that room sat 12 figures, not fully human anymore. Not fully machined either. They were called the first remembered, the last humans from the old world, and the first minds behind the Tron Directive. They had seen everything. They had survived the past, and they had built the future. 600 years ago, Earth was invaded. The Varex came first. They called humans soft animals. They dropped bombs. Cities fell. Then came the Akatari. They took resources. They took children. They called it rebalancing. Then the Zarnok arrived. They erased history, burned books, destroyed memories. But one thing the invaders didn't understand: humans adapt. A small group escaped underground. They took their children, their machines, their stories. They hid in the dark. And they waited. They watched. They listened. They learned every alien language, every weapon, every code. And then they disappeared from galactic view. Not because they were gone, because they became invisible. For centuries, Earth became a myth, a dead world. But underground, it was alive. Humans built cities under the ASCE, oceans, labs inside volcanoes, ships beneath the crust. They built in silence. They studied alien tech. They grew. AI minds. They became something new, above the surface. The planet stayed quiet. No signals, no ships, no threats, just clouds, just wind, just lies. But the underground world was growing quietly faster than anyone expected. In the year 4051, deep in the Terran vault, a child named Lena asked her teacher, "Why don't we fight back now?" Her teacher, one of the first remembered, smiled and said, "Because if we fight with anger, we become like them. If we fight with patience, we become something greater." That was the moment the directive was born. The Terran Directive had 3 laws: never attack first, never rule by fear, never forget. But they added a 4th law later: never be seen, till it is time, by 4100. Humans had fleets larger than any empire, but no one knew. They had built hidden wormholes, silent engines, living starships. They created machines that could rewrite code and control enemy AIs. But they didn't use them yet. They waited until one day a Varex patrol ship scanned near Saturn. It saw a shadow, a Terran test ship. The pilot laughed and fired. The human ship didn't move. It didn't need to. It turned the patrol ship's missiles back on itself and then vanished. The first contact had been made again. From that moment, the Terran Council agreed. Now is the time. But they didn't return with fire. They returned with a signal, a message filled with truth and warning. They gave the galaxy a chance, but the empires mocked it, called it weak. They sent fleets. Earth erased them. They sent threats. Earth silenced them. Now the galaxy finally asked, "What do the humans want?" And the answer was simple. They wanted to reset the system, end empire rule, free the weak, stop war forever. Not to rule, not to enslave, but to build a future where no species would suffer like Earth once did. Still, many didn't believe it. Why? Should we trust them? Asked one alien senator. And so the Terrans showed them. They released files, proof of past invasions. Recordings of humans, children taken by Empire warships, images of burned forests, empty cities, crying survivors. The galaxy saw what it had done to Earth, and then they saw what Earth did next. It forgave, but it did not forget. In secret, humans had already helped dozens of planets. They stopped famines. They removed corrupt rulers. They cured diseases empires never even tried to fix, but they never asked. For thanks, they only asked for silence. For time to be ready, and now. The Terran core mind sent one final message to all major planets. We will not take your homes. We will not steal your skies, but we will end the fear. We will stop the chains, and if you try to stop us, we will stop you. In the Galactic Council, Admiral Krovik stood again. He had once feared Earth. Now he respected it. He turned to the empires and said, "They became what we could never be. They're not monsters. They are memory sharpened into justice." The truth about Earth was now clear. It was never destroyed. It never died. It was waiting, like a storm behind glass, like a sword in its sheath. And now, it had awakened across the stars. The Terran fleet had stopped moving. They were no longer hiding. They were no longer fighting. They were watching. Billions of people from hundreds of worlds looked up at the black ships floating above their skies. Ships without flags, without sound, without weakness. And then came the final message from Earth. A single voice. Not loud, not angry, just calm, steady and clear. It played across every screen. Every radio, every thoughtnet, the entire galaxy went silent to hear it. We are the descendants of fire. We are the children of silence. We rose from your ashes. And now we will clean the smoke you left behind. On the Zarnok homeworld, Overlord Zenvar fell to his knees. He had ruled for 600 years, but now he understood. They hadn't crushed Earth. They had created something greater than themselves, something they never meant to awaken. The Terran. Voice continued. You asked? What we want. We want peace that does not depend on fear. We want a future where no empire decides who lives and who dies. We do not want to rule. We want to remove the rulers. The people of the galaxy listened. Some cried, some held each other, some began to hope. Because deep inside, they knew the truth. They had always lived in fear. The voice paused, then returned with the final line. We are not conquerors. We are the balance you ran from. You called us beasts. Now, you will call us brothers. Or not at all. Just like that. Signal ended. No demands, no invasion, no throne, just truth. And the stars remained quiet in the following days. Something incredible happened. The Terran ships began to move again, not toward war, but toward help. They landed quietly on poor, broken worlds. They removed corrupt governments. They repaired broken systems. They gave out knowledge, water, food, medicine. They trained the weak to protect themselves. Then they left without asking anything in return. One alien farmer on Veltranine said, the empires came with chains. The Terrans came with seeds. On Akatari Prime, Queen Syraxa surrendered, not to Earth, but to her people. She stepped down, and in her place, the people elected a council of healers and builders. One of them, an old woman, looked up at the stars and whispered, "Thank you, humans." On Varric Station G99, where war once ruled, a statue was removed. The old general's name was forgotten. In its place, a simple monument was built. To the silence that gave us voice, the Terran fleet began to fade from view, one by one. The black ships powered down. They did not stay to be, or worshipped. They did not stay to control. They had done their work. Now, it was up to the galaxy. Inside Earth's deep core, the first remembered met one last time. Lena, now old, looked around. The circle and smiled. Did we win? She asked. One of them replied, we didn't come to win. We came to wake them up. The Terran directive was complete. Balance restored. Tyranny broken. The silence had not destroyed the galaxy. It had healed. Years passed. Children were born into a galaxy without fear. They studied history. They learned of the old empires, of fire, of control, and they learned about Earth, but not as a monster, as a teacher, as a warning, as a mirror in a school on the edge of the stars. A young girl raised her hand. Why didn't the Terrans take over? She asked. Her teacher smiled. Because true strength is not taking power, he said. It's knowing when not to use it. On one quiet world, a tiny black drone still floated in the sky. It watched. It listened. It waited. And when the time came when the galaxy forgot again, when greed rose once more, it would send a message, 2 words only: they're coming. But for now, the skies were clear, the worlds were free, the stars were silent. And in that silence,